What is up, mathematicians? And today we are going to be talking about solving problems with multi-terms in them. That means we're going to be seeing different problems that have mixed numbers, different fractions with uncommon denominators, and we have to use our strategies for adding and subtracting fractions to help solve these problems. Let's get into our I will statements before we begin. Remember, your I will statements are your goals for this lesson. They are what we are trying to work on and learn more about throughout our time together today. As we continue on in our lesson, make sure you have your mind focused on these three things and showing them to your teacher. I will read the I will statement first, and then we will read it again a second time together. Make sure you're reading it nice and loudly so I can hear you, but no shouting necessary. Listen as I read the first statement. I will identify similar terms in a multi-term problem. Our I will statements are longer today, so read it on the screen as you say it with me. Ready, set, go. I will identify similar terms in a multi-term problem. Nicely done. I heard some of us saying that nice and loud. Make sure you say it so I can hear you all the way through the computer. Next one, listen first. I will draw or write my mathematical reasoning for a solution. Read and say it with me. I will draw or write my mathematical reasoning for a solution. Nice job, guys. Let's get into some of our review activities for today. This activity is called the Math Quest Race. How this activity works will be explained on the screen, but I will go over the rules now quickly. If you want to pause at the end to answer any questions that you guys might have, pause before I instruct you on what you will be racing. How this activity works is you will each be given a piece of paper. It might have facts on it. It might just be a blank note piece of paper, but you will be instructed to finish a certain amount of problems in 1 minute. You will try to finish however many you can, but every time we do this activity, you want to try to get a few more problems done. Even if it's just one more problem the next time we do it, that still shows us that we're improving our race stamina and we're getting better at our facts or recognizing patterns. When your teacher gives you your papers, you're not allowed to start until the teacher says go. When the teacher says go, all of you will flip your paper over and you will have 1 minute time to fill out as many as possible. If you finish before the 1 minute time is over, turn your paper over and draw a picture on the back of an angle in the real life setting. For today, you guys are going to be using your sprints activity to work on your Math Quest race. You are going to do the even numbers today, and the next time you guys hear from me, we'll work on the odd numbers. But for today, focus on the even numbers. Go through and star or put a little check mark next to all the ones today. Make a goal for yourself and see if you can reach that goal and go beyond. You got this, mathematicians, and come back when you're ready to work on something new together. Now, on your personal whiteboard, I want you to write down this problem. This is going to be the first problem we are looking at. 2/3, say it with me, 2/3 plus 1/5, say the whole equation now, 2/3 plus 1/5 plus 1/3 plus 1 4/5. Let's read this entire equation from left to right. 2/3 plus 1/5 plus 1/3 plus 1 4/5. Nicely done. This is an important skill to know because you might see multi-term fractions in the real world. I know I see it all the time when I'm baking in the kitchen, and sometimes a recipe calls for 2/3 of something and 1/5 of something else. And sometimes I might not have the right measuring cup. So maybe sometimes I have to convert my fractions, or maybe sometimes I just have to figure out what kind of bowl I might need. So I have to add up the fractions to see how much space they might be taking up of my bowl. We're working on a multi-term problem, so we want to take a note of a few things while we're looking at this problem. The first is what operation we're using. We're using addition across the board. And if I look at my problem more closely, I can see that we're adding fractions and a mixed number over here. But I can see that some of them have like denominators, like our 2/3. I'm going to underline 2/3 once and 1/3 once. Those have like denominators. And 1/5, I'll underline twice. And 1 4/5 I'll underline twice because they have like denominators. Underline the like denominators on your board so it matches mine. Now that we've cap your marker. Now that we've identified those like terms, I'm going to pull those out into smaller addition problems. I'm going to bring down our 2/3 plus our 1/3. Remember, because we're doing addition, we can do it in any order we want to. So it's okay for us to flip some of these around. I've pulled out two of our like terms. I'm going to pull the other two like terms, the 1/5 plus 1 4/5 out as well. Now we're adding all of these up. I just rearranged it so that the like terms were next to each other. We still need to put a plus sign between them because we're adding them all up. Let's use parentheses in this problem to point out not only our like terms that we just put together, but also where to start in solving this problem. I'm going to put my parentheses around the 2 1/3. So I know I'm going to add those together. That's going to be easy for me to do because they're already like terms. I don't need to do anything or change my denominator. On the other side, I'm going to have 1/5 and 1 4/5 in parentheses because, again, we moved them around and these are our like denominators, so we want to add them together. On your whiteboards, pause and write this equation. Turn and talk to a partner once you have it written down and read the equation to them as best as you can. Want a challenge after? See if anyone can read the equation out loud to the class confidently. Now that we have combined our like denominators and put them into parentheses so that we can solve those individual equations first, let's do that work before we see if we need to change our fractions or adapt anything else. If we look at this problem over here, just 2/3 plus 1/3, it's in a parentheses, so that means I do it by itself first. 2/3 plus 1/3. Well, 3 and 3 can stay the same. You're going to keep your markers capped for right now. Just watch me, and then you're going to write this down in a minute. 3 and 3 stay the same. Remember, when we're adding fractions, we keep our like denominator the same. And then we add the top. Everybody on your fingers, show me what's 2 plus 1. Good. I should see 3 on your fingers. So we have 3/3 on this side, or 3/3. And I know whenever I see a numerator and denominator that are the same number, that just equals 1 whole. So when we add these two fractions together, we get 1 whole. Write 1 on your boards now. Cap your markers so we know you're ready to go on to our next equation, our next parentheses in the equation. On this side, we do have a whole number. If we were to block out the whole number and just look at our fractions here, we have 1/5 plus 4/5. Well, if we did like we did before, and pull out, we'll do that first. Our 1/5 plus our 4/5. Our denominators are the same numbers, so we're going to leave them the same, and we need to do 1 plus 4. Everybody on your fingers, hold up 1 plus 4. What does that equal? I should see 5 on all of your fingers. If you have 5 fingers up, give somebody a high 5. Nicely done. Just like in our previous parenthesis problem, we have another number, numerator and denominator number that are the same. We have 5/5. That's going to equal 1 whole. If I look, I only did the 4/5 so far and the 1/5. I still have this other whole in here. I have to add this to the whole number that the fractions made. Once I add that all together, I get 2. Nicely done. So we're going to put 2 underneath this parenthesis. Now I've used the whole number over here. We added them. I used this fraction and this fraction and this plus sign, but we didn't use the plus sign in the middle. We still need to bring that down. Now we have a simple addition problem that we need to solve. What is 1 plus 2? Hold it up on your fingers. 3. Nicely done. So we have 3 as our total over here. So we can rearrange a problem and solve it using this strategy. We can find those like denominators, and we're able to solve by adding parentheses around those like denominators and then solving with what may be whole numbers or other fractions we may get. Make sure you pay attention if you have any mixed numbers in the future. Don't forget the whole number that's attached to the fraction. That would have changed our answer in the end. You guys are going to continue to practice a few more problems. You may see some different operations, but don't panic. You guys got the skills to do this. Good luck, mathematicians.